William. I'm the content creation manager at Crypto in Africa and Bizin Africa. Today we are hosting our Bizin Africa talk. We have Esther, Oulo, and if we can start straight, we can jump straight to the first question. Kindly, who is Esther, Malkia, Oulo?
Well, thank you for the question. My name is, of course, Esther Malkia Oulo. I am a junior environmental engineer, and I'm passionate about coming up with practical solutions to real life problems. So my core values lie in converting waste to energy, and that leads to the current project that I'm running as a project manager, Smart Biogas Digester. That is a project run by the company Evenas, which stands for Enabling Vulnerable Entities and Natural Sustainability, where I am also the co-founder. So Esther is a renewable energy expert and an entrepreneur with 9 years of experience weaving the two to come up with sustainable solutions in terms of energy and transitioning into renewable energy as a country and Africa as a whole continent.
Thank you. That's a good introduction, Esther.
People
with your dreams are the people we want in Africa.
You're lucky Africa is born in me.
Yeah, we're lucky to have you here right now. We're lucky to have you.
Thank you.
So we understand you are the project manager at Smart Biogas Digester. Tell us what this company is and what it does, kindly.
Well, Smart Biogas Digester is a project, and a project run by Evenas. As I said earlier, Evenas is enabling vulnerable entities and nurturing sustainability. So a little bit of background story. I was raised in an orphanage, and having to feed 26 children breakfast, lunch, and supper 365 days a year. You can imagine how my kitchen looks like. You know, the home kitchen looks like, the suit, the 3 Firestone place. So as I grew up, more responsibilities, I had to shoulder more responsibilities. So I was given the responsibility of energy. That means buying firewood and charcoal to sustain the family.
Yeah.
And per month, I would use roughly 8,000 shillings just to sustain food, cooking, and warmth during cold season. So after joining for my master's in environmental engineering, I got to work with my lecturer in a project called Smart Biogas. So in coming up with, just learning ways in which I could utilize the waste in my environment into energy, it clicked. I have all the prerequisite ingredients of coming up with renewable energy. Why don't I try it out? So back home, we rear farm animals, we have farmland, and that was my first project to do, constructing biogas at home. So that helped me cut costs of firewood and charcoal by 90%. So after doing the test run, seeing the efficiency that it comes with, I decided, why not make this a project that a company as Evenas that is keen on promoting sustainability could take up and fund and drive, especially in my community. So that's how Smart Biogas Digester then became a project that I personally manage. And this has been successful in such a manner that we are able to sensitize the community concerning renewable energy from biomass. I am originally from Bungoma. So that means cows, agricultural activities is one of the main key economical activities that my people engage in. And organic waste is rather in large amounts. So we started by incorporating farmers with animals and who had the keen interest to convert their waste to energy. Yeah. So we have been providing services such as installing biogas digesters, servicing existing biogas digesters, acting as merchants in between farmers who want to purchase above ground biodigesters, that is buying from existing competitors in the market while we are still trying to set up our own. Other than that, we're also engaging with high schools and primary schools because combined, they're the highest users of firewood. You can remember in your high school, firewood, right?
Yeah.
And you're looking at, up to today. It's true, up to today. But the same schools are trying to be sustainable in terms of providing for their own food. So they have vegetable farms, they have animals they keep. So we have been liaising with primary schools and high schools to convert their waste and also kitchen waste into biogas that helps to cook in the kitchen. So on a larger scale, we are targeting institutions where we are revolutionizing how the expenditures they incur in terms of energy consumption. We are also revolutionizing how African kitchens look like, because my kitchen has stopped being sooty. I don't have any open fire cases anymore. My environment is cleaner thanks to this project. And the adoption is even better because the resources are easily available. So basically what Smart Biogas does is just helping farmers and institutions convert their waste to energy and thus maximizing financial value.
When you say resources, you basically mean what we usually call taka, right?
Yes, taka, but organic. Mostly like animal waste, waste, because you're looking at the potency of biogas production with different types of waste.
So what if someone is interested and they can't access animal waste? What about I come from Eastern Kenya, from Makueni to be specific, and getting animal waste in that side is kind of difficult.
I know.
So we make manure from grains, from, when you harvest crops, the remnants, that's what we decompose. And can that also produce the biogas and stuff?
Yes, it can. Yes, it can.
So
the only difference is that the decomposition rate. With animal waste, the decomposition rate is faster compared to farmyard waste.
Yeah.
Right. Second of all, looking at animal waste and in keenness, looking at cow dung, the process of methane emission has already started the moment the cow starts digesting. So by the time we are getting droplets, the process of digestion is far much ahead, rather than waiting for the green vegetables to decompose and then ferment and then produce the gas. So it is suitable for environments where we have easy access of organic waste, most likely farm animals.
Cow dung.
Farm
animals and stuff, yeah.
On the other end, using we can pair up the agricultural waste with culture. Culture is fermentation, quickening the fermentation process. For instance, using muratira. Muratira is just fermented carbohydrates, right? So you could mix the fermented carbohydrates with your waste and that with your green waste from the farms, and that could speed up decomposition to increase the rate of gas you get per day to use.
I think we need you in Makueni more than you need it where you are. Because we bury these things for months before they become manure.
I know. Yeah. I study in Voi, and the same challenge applies because it's a relatively dry.
Yeah.
So mixing the manure, mixing the vegetable waste rather, or the farm waste with culture, with the already decomposing manure quickens. So you could have a different ratio compared to somebody in Bungoma, where maybe your leaves, your vegetable, your mbaazi or your maize or whatever it is that you have waste from the farm is mixed with a little bit of culture to speed up biogas production, so that you have a biogas digester, but it is equally effective. You don't have low gas that cannot be beneficial to you.
That is some good information, Malkia.
Thank you.
So next to that question, as an environmental engineer, it's in your jurisdiction to protect human health, protect nature's beneficial ecosystems, and improve environmental related enhancement of the quality. Sorry. Let me pick up again. As an environmental engineer, it's in your jurisdiction to protect human health, protect nature's beneficial ecosystem, and improve environmental related enhancement of the quality of humans. In Africa, 70% of livelihoods depend on agriculture, which depends on the environment. As the project manager at Smart Biogas Digester, are you or your team promoting these virtues to African farmers, and how?
Yes, we are. One of our key selling points is promoting circular economy.
Yeah.
And circular economy means, from my point of view, the output of another becomes the input of the other, and the output of the other becomes the input of the other. So as farmers, when you're looking at agriculture, two important aspects come up: soil and water, other than the knowledge and the proper farming techniques to employ in your farms. So when you're looking at soil, a byproduct of the biodigester, well, after the digestion takes place, is the bioslurry. This is an effective organic manure, and it is such an important factor in that it improves the soil fertility in terms of improving levels of nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and other trace elements.
Sorry to cut you. When you say bioslurry, you mean what remains after the whole process, right?
Yes. So once the digester becomes, let me use three symbols. So we have entry. Entry means the type of feed we are putting. Let's say manure, cow dung mixed with water, right? And then digestion takes place in the digester. And then after that, excess, the digester after the gas has been released into the gas chamber, we have now the slurry. This is the waste, the liquid waste that comes out of the digester. Now you see, this liquid waste is just fermented waste, right? It comes ready for use. And this comes from animal waste, organic materials that have nutrients. We have phosphorus, we have nitrogen, we have potassium. So in a scenario where we have the slurry, you can put it in a 20 jerrycan container and go pour in your farm. And that is absorbed directly, immediately, because it's ready for use. It does not need to decompose before it's absorbed by plants. You get it?
So it's basically like it's chewed food that you just have to swallow. In layman's language.
In layman's language, but in terms of crop yield and agriculture, right? Chewed food, you just have to swallow. And it has even better benefits because it's in liquid form. Anybody who is in need of irrigation purposes has reduced irrigation needs, right? Second of all, because the biodigester has a lot of the slurry has a lot of amino acids. Then it becomes a good, for lack of a better word, I'm looking at pesticide. It becomes a good biological pesticide because then it has high amino acids, it has high growth hormones, it has antibiotics, which protects the plants from pests. So in terms of agriculture, the byproduct, this is slurry from biodigester, other than the gas we are looking for clean cooking energy. We have the liquid fertilizer that acts as fertilizer that reduces water use in farms and also acts as a pesticide. This improves yields by up to 30% compared to the local artificial fertilizer in the market. You get it?
Yeah, I'm getting.
Yes. Now, here's another thing. Because we are promoting circular economy, output from the digester, which is the slurry, becomes input into the farms. Fertilizer, an important aspect of any agricultural farming activity that you're looking at, right? So now if you have good yields from our farms, then we also have high yields of waste, right? High yields is directly proportional to high waste. Looking at how we treat, looking at the farm wastage that we currently experience in Africa and even in Kenya, right? So then the waste that comes from the high yield becomes a good source of raw materials for our biodigester. You're getting?
It's a circle of I benefit, you benefit. It's an endless circle to be specific.
Exactly. Because then if the waste from my biodigester improves the yields from in my shamba, right? And then the waste from my shamba is a constant and sustainable source for feedstock into my biodigester. It has cut costs on both fronts, from an agriculture point of view and from an energy point of view. And as farmers, we're looking for energy, even if it's just to heat water for a farmer, for a farmer rearing cows. We need the hot water for cleaning the nipples before milking. We need heat to heat the milk, pasteurize the milk. we need the heat to make sure that should there be any challenges in terms of rearing poultry, we need the heat to safeguard the poultry to be warm throughout cold season. These are just, you're cutting costs on both ends. So when you're talking to farmers, we're promoting sustainable economy, a sustainable circular economy, whereby we are not just providing you with an alternative to clean energy. We're also providing you with an alternative to fertilizers that are in the market. And as you can see, the rate of fertilizer prices is just shooting up and shooting up and shooting up. And sometimes farmers have challenges with getting poor quality fertilizer because of the, market dynamics.
Yeah, the prices.
Yes. Other
you
than
go
that,
for the cheap one.
It's true. It's true.
You go for the cheap one and you get the bad one, actually.
True. Yeah. And the losses that come with that, as a farmer, I can tell you, it breaks your heart. It breaks your heart. But then if you have a steady source of liquid fertilizer, and you also have a steady source of feedstock for your digester, do you see how you can sustainably run this project?
I got the picture, and it's a circle which is very, very. That's why I told you we want you in Makueni, but.
True.
Okay, what about small scale farmers? Are you guys putting the same efforts on large scale farmers and on small scale farmers, despite of what you're getting back? Like, are you educating them unbiasedly? Because I believe in Kenya, around 80% of farmers are small scale farmers.
True.
And they're in rural areas, to be specific.
True.
So are you guys putting the same efforts on those?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Because the concept of kidogo kidogo hujaza kibaba comes in very lucrative in terms of farmers cooperatives.
Yeah.
All right. So one way of getting access to these farmers in a context where they are willing to learn, relearn, and unlearn comes in when liaising with cooperatives.
Yeah.
Because they have a trust established where, should they suggest something to be adopted, farmers are likely to pick it up, rather than if I just went to the market and started saying, you know what, I'm offering this product, it does this, and this.
Yeah.
All right. Another aspect that comes with liaising with cooperatives is the fact that they already have grassroots networks that helps us to get to farmers faster. They also have exhibition arenas. This helps us to set up our projects without necessarily having to incur costs of in-kind costs in terms of where do we get raw materials, where do we situate this. So talking to farmers comes in handy, because in a setting where a farmer, or in a setting where a neighbor, in a home setting where we have 3-4 farmers in one homestead, in a culture where a husband has 3, 4, 5 wives, we have large tracts of land. These farmers are educated about the importance of biogas. And you're not just selling, do this, it will save you money. Sometimes the issue is not money. Sometimes the issue is the effectiveness of being able to get reliable energy.
Yeah.
They have the money, but they don't have reliable energy. They have the money, but they don't have reliable fertilizer. So when talking to them while, sensitizing them, we also bring in the aspect of, you're not just saving a few pennies on the side, you're also contributing towards a better climate for our crops. Yeah. We are facing adverse effects of climate change. We are facing droughts. We are facing floods. 2 days ago, it rained hailstorms in Bungoma. All leafy vegetables down. You could look at bananas that were setting up, destroyed. We could look at farms with, maize that were tasseling, destroyed. Yeah. Farmers are going to harvest beans, destroyed. So we are looking, when sensitizing farmers, we also look at their pain points. This biodigester, what is it doing? Other than just helping me in my immediate community, 10 years, 20 years from now, will I be directly contributing towards reducing the number of the for lack of a better word, the stretch of famine, or the stretch or drought, or the adverse effects of floods that affect me as a resident of a community that is affected by weather? We are all relying on rainfall, right?
Yeah.
So while selling to farmers, we go deeper. It's not just one aspect where we are giving you value for money. We go deeper to the pain points. My farm has been, affected by the hailstorm. When talking to them about climate change and how to reduce these effects, biogas comes in. But while dealing with large institutions, then we're just looking at how much am I significantly reducing towards your expenses that goes towards energy? How much are we, making it more efficient for you to cook for your students? So while talking to small, yes, and how much you're getting back, exactly. So with farmers, it's more emotional, it's more personal. With large institutions, it's more economics.
Hello, Esther, you can hear me?
I'm here. Yes, I can hear you.
So you've touched a bit about climate change, and I think that jumps us to the fourth question. Can you comment on the climate change situation in Africa, kindly, based on your area of specification or specialization?
When I'm looking at climate change in Africa, climate change has been brought about by the greenhouse gases. And although we contribute significantly, I bet lower than the developed countries, we face we are at the end, we are the receiving end of the worst impacts we could look at. One, looking at statistics, Sub-Saharan Africa has 95%. It relies on agriculture that is rain-fed, 95% of Sub-Saharan. So when you're looking at the bouts of drought, when you're looking at famine, we are affected as a country because majority of agricultural activities depend on rain. Second, I'm looking at the GDP that is contributed by agriculture, the rate of employment that relies, no, not really the rate, the employment sector that relies on agriculture. Climate change affects us as Africans because we rely on agriculture that is reliant on climate. All right. So with climate change affecting us, with climate change bringing about floods, bringing about storm, it creates food insecurity. And then that then becomes the base of everything going wrong. Because currently look at the prices of unga in the market. Maize. When you ask farmers, why 2021? Why are we facing challenges of maize supply in 2021? They'll point out we were not able to plant in the last 3 years because of the adverse weather changes. They'll point out we are now forced to import maize from outside. They'll point out several factors, but key factor being the irregular weather patterns that has been contributed significantly by the adverse impacts of climate change. And also when it just comes to, advancing and sustaining these sustainable goals that we have, it becomes really, really hard because then it's affecting major wheels in which a country rides on to achieve the sustainable development goals. I feel that despite the fact that we are on the receiving end of this adverse, climate change, situations that arise, we are also in a position to come up with solutions that are tailored for us. We should not be quick on joining on the bandwagon of, climate solutions from abroad. We find tailored solutions for us. Like I've said, Africa has a very unique market. What could work in Europe could not necessarily work in Africa. And what works in Africa could not necessarily work in Asia. So having tailored solutions for the problems that we face due to climate change could sustainably improve the way we are adopting to the changes brought about by climate change.
And on that, these are things that have been talked about. They've been discussed for like the last 20 years since the 2000s, the effects of climate change, and nothing is happening up to date. Do you think it's like what really is the problem? Is it we or is it the people? Like, do we also put this on the government?
Well, I think we have shared responsibility. We have shared responsibility in the manner that let me give you a rough tray, okay? So the man in the market selling firewood to feed his family. Business is booming. when I ask him, how is your business doing? He says business is booming. Why? There is demand for firewood.
For firewood.
There is demand for firewood. All right.
Yeah.
The mama who sells maka, that charcoal vendor with the whole store in the market that everybody knows. If you want charcoal at a good price for a bag, you get at this corner. I ask a question. How is your business? Business is booming. Why? There is a demand. All right.
Yeah.
So for us to come up with mitigation measures, we should deal with the reason for demand. One, it is cheap. Firewood, charcoal is cheap. Even if I was to, lobby behind renewable energy, the initial capital cost will scare this young farmer. I'd rather plant 2 acres of trees, and in 7 years I can harvest as firewood and sell and get returns. That is a revenue model somebody sees, right? Yeah. Rather than invest in renewable energy, where before I see my returns, it will be 2-3 years to come. Yeah. Second of all, I'm looking at the government infrastructure. We lack sustainability. A lot of these renewable projects have not been successful because of lack of sustainability. And it paints a poor picture on renewable energy initiatives. Because I'm pretty sure we have several initiatives that were put up to promote renewable energy that were not just adopted, or the projects lacked enough funds to run through the whole cycle to create a meaningful impact. Or it was not even, it was just a hearsay by mouth. We are going to do this, we're going to do this, you're going to do this, and embezzlement and corruption and misuse of resources is accounted for.
I think that's our biggest problem. People just say we're going to do, and nothing is ever done.
Nothing. I'm not pointing fingers, but I'm saying this.
Nobody's pointing fingers.
Nobody's pointing fingers. It's true. Nobody's pointing fingers.
It's
true. But we lack sustainability. Sustainability. Renewable energy generation is expected to be the main source of energy in sub-Saharan Africa in the next century. Yeah. However, the sustainability aspect of this project is a character that is not clearly defined in terms of project implementation. We have numerous amazing projects, but the sustainability of this implementation, the rate at which these projects are failing, they create a negative impact and make it harder to accept that we can actually transition from fossil fuels to clean energy. Yeah. So if the government, private sector, if personally we could come up with sustainable projects, then this is going to be realistic. The transition from fossil fuel to renewable energy is going to be realistic. Because then if these projects are working, we can then scale up. We can scale up these sustainable projects.
Yeah.
Simple. If we find something, we test something, we find something that works, we scale it up. And then we sensitize the early adopters, because then they are crucial to how this product is taken in, or this project is accepted into the local market or even international market.
Sure.
So it's a shared responsibility. We are also, sisi wenyewe kwa wenyewe, Kenyans, we are very,
I think that says it all.
It says it all. We are changing perceptions, one institution at a time, one homestead at a time.
But I think it's a matter of how we grew up. We grew up in a society that had such perceptions, by the way.
It's true.
It affects us a lot. Yeah.
I mean, I was doing research, and 80% of, the people in my environment know what biogas is.
Yeah.
But only 1% have implemented it. I know biogas. You know biogas.
People know it.
Yes. You know biogas, right? You've heard about biogas, right? But have you seen a biogas project in your neighborhood?
No. I've never.
Exactly. But should there be just one sustainable project in your neighborhood?
Kenya, right?
It would be adopted. It will be adopted. Yeah. The same thing, the same way I come to a market and I'm selling, maybe I have a milk vending machine. No, let's even just talk about betting. I have a betting shop. If that betting shop shows potential, you'll see another betting shop opening, a third one, a fourth one, a fifth one, a sixth one. Same concept transitioned into renewable energy. If you have a sustainable, clear project working, you'll see another one rising, and a third one, and a fourth one, and a fifth one. But we lack the sustainability. and we share equal responsibility in failure to achieve sustainability.
I think that this jumps us to the next question, because this is the same hit you guys are doing. So farms such as, on to the 50 questions, farms such as Smart Biogas Digester are at the forefront of ensuring the production of clean energy in Africa and in Kenya. Regardless of this, only 9% of Africa's energy is clean as of 2021. What is not being done, and what would you recommend to both the government and private institutions to promote the production of clean energy in Africa?
Like I said, our biggest hiccup is sustainability. We have the innovation, we have the R&Ds, we are coming up with acceleration programs to nurture and incubate these innovative ideas that come about as a result of wanting to, progress renewable energy adoption in Kenya. From a point of view, I'm looking at, if I was to give a recommendation to the government, I would encourage the government to come up with policies that are investor friendly. Because I am a private investor. I started liaising with the government when I saw the need to work closely with the county government officials who are dealing with, who have, agricultural records of the county. Other than that, this was a personal initiative from a point where I was in a pain point and I found a solution. And now I want to share and generate this solution and have more like a snowball effect.
Yeah.
However, the government policies of just setting up a company, the legalities that come about it, the legalities of patenting and innovation, the legalities of setting up a project, a lot of bureaucracy and a lot of politics make it harder for investors like us to set foot in the ground. Most of us, we started as a buying the way as a social impact before now making it a social enterprise. If the government could come up with policies that encourage social enterprises that champion for renewable energy, then it becomes easy to have companies and even private investors roll out projects and sustainably fund them to fruition. Other than that, I'm also looking at, when you're looking at funds set aside for renewable energy, I mean, looking at the Kenyan budget, there should be, not that there should be, there is a budget for energy. All right. If this could trickle down, if this could trickle down and don't just focus on the fossil fuels in the market, but if this could trickle down to also renewable energy environments, that will be very, very helpful, because a lot of us, we have good ideas, but we lack the resources to jumpstart these ideas and sustainably implement these ideas into a sustainable situation where the business itself runs without having to jumpstart occasionally with personal or investor or grants, right?
Yeah.
When you're looking at private investors and the private sector, I would champion for acceleration programs, for incubation programs, for Series A, Series B funding, because they are in a position to, if they're looking at the value, maximizing financial value from renewable energy sector, fine and well, it is very sustainable, because if you provide a cheaper alternative to fossil fuel, then you're already tapping into a market that is ready to pay. All right. Yeah. So these private investors should come up, they should come up with accelerator programs, incubation programs, where these ideas are nurtured and fine-tuned into something that could be implemented on a larger scale, and not just in Kenya, not just in East Africa, in Africa, in the world. Energy demand is energy demand.
Energy is production, actually. Without energy, there's nothing. Yeah.
It's true. So for the private investors, because I've been a beneficiary of private investors, an incubation program where you go through, where Smart Biogas was just an idea that I had as a co-founder of a company that wanted to come up with something, a social impact that affected me directly. But I didn't know I didn't know the technicalities that comes up with running a project of this magnitude.
Yeah.
I didn't know the technicalities that comes up with marketing, even just our minimal viable product. So these investors coming up with environments where we could nurture our ideas, we could implement our ideas, we could come back should there be any challenges as we are growing, we could have support, somewhere to lean, somewhere to mentors rather to direct us, because then if their keen interest is generating income for financial value, the project should grow, right?
Yeah, it will.
Yes.
So, and the same thing, when, if I can ask you this, when you're starting this biogas digester and stuff, and you want to get, do you have to get permission from the government offices or something? Or if they
Well,
have to fund you, do they have to give you a license or something? Or are there specific ways you have to do this, or it's a personal thing like we usually do at home? You just dig a hole.
I'm looking, okay,
Bury,
fine. Like we have bigger projects that require certification, because then this deals with, we are looking at the impact to the environment.
Yeah.
A lot of legalities comes. So starting out, for me, I started out by a biodigester in my home, right?
Yeah.
And then coming back to make it a project that could be adopted by the community, I now had to liaise with the government, because this is something that, in as much as you're contributing positively towards the environment, they have to be made aware of these initiatives. For them to even support this initiative, they have to know this initiative exists and the benefits that comes with these initiatives. The politics, though, the politics is what we're trying to navigate.
Yeah.
But I find it for I also come from a speaking point of, if I wanted something to be adopted faster, I would rather work with the existing grassroots network.
Yeah.
And this comes from the government. It's just that the politics that comes in becomes a little bit challenging.
Yeah.
But for small-scale farmers, we've seen small-scale farmers having their biodigesters without any legality involved. But when you're looking at from a large-scale point of view, I would even appreciate if the county government of Bungoma had, we could have a meeting and talk about how we could convert the organic waste from farms, because now we are an agricultural county. The organic waste from farms taken into a biodigester, where the gas is used to light the streets, where the gas is used to run the county or the parastatal companies that require a lot of energy.
I think you should write such proposal to them. Right?
We should, and we are. However, we are taking tentative steps, because
it's Kenya, right?
We are hoping, this is Kenya. We are hoping that things will improve, but we're also very realistic with how things work.
Exactly.
So we are hopeful. Yes, we are hopeful that things will become better. But currently, we are also a little bit. We are working along with the challenges as we go.
Yeah. Okay. On to the next question, Esther. Question 6. Biogas is eco-friendly and can be homemade. How is your farm promoting the spread of this knowledge and helping where necessary?
Well, we are looking at training. Training is important. Training in terms of educating the value of biogas.
Yeah.
And because biogas has a lot of benefits, by the way, other than just the gas that we get and the fertilizer that we get and climate, in terms of reducing greenhouse gas emission. We're also looking at reducing indoor pollution. We're looking at smoke. We're looking at carbon monoxide. We're looking at, the open fires.
Yeah.
And sensitizing them, because a lot of women and children are found in the kitchens, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm empowering a woman to use biogas, one, I've reduced the amount of time that would have otherwise been used to collect firewood. Two, I have improved her status in the society, in that cooking does not have to be dirty.
Yeah.
It does not have to be dirty. It does not have to be degrading. This is a basic need. Food is a basic need, and how we make our food should be something that we are proud of. Yeah. So in terms of training and educating farmers on uses of biogas and how it could be implemented and the costs incurred of setting up a biodigester, this is something that at the back of their mind, in as much as they might not implement now, but we plant seeds. We plant seeds, and these seeds end up growing. Second, I'm looking at creating awareness in schools. For us to change the narrative of renewable energy, we should start at the grassroots. Where do we start learning about energy? In schools. If schools can actually take up renewable energy, for this instance, biogas, If I was in a school that was doing a biogas project and somebody came and, started sensitizing my environment about my community about biogas, don't you think I'll also jump in because I've seen it work? I am the first testament. I've seen it work. I've seen it work in a school. And you see, if parents come to a school, an AGM, and they say, this year we've been able to reduce our firewood expenditure by 60% thanks to the biogas digester projects that we ran. Yeah. Parents go home educated.
Yeah.
They go home from one school with a biodigester with, say, 2,000 parents. At least 10% of that percentage would go back and implement. And the children from there, when you're looking at studies that show the rate of adoption of renewable energy and how quickly it could be adopted should children sensitize their parents, then it becomes easy. If, there's a saying, if you want something done, ask the child to nag do it yourself. You can even ask the child to nag your mother. Do you have a younger brother or a younger sister? The favorite one.
I have two.
If you wanted something from a parent who knew favored that one, what would you do?
I would go to the last born and tell her, go get this from mama.
Would it be done or not?
It will be done immediately.
Exactly. So you look at people, you look at people who have better influence to these parents.
Yeah.
Who are majorly in a position to install biodigesters. When we are spreading awareness, you're also spreading awareness to people who have the willingness to pay, who have the willingness to change, who have the willingness to implement, who have the willingness to teach.
Yeah.
So training is important, mentorship is important, creating awareness is important, and also just having conversations like this.
So as Smart Biogas Digester, are you guys doing that?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Okay. We have currently had 3 seminars.
Yeah.
One was in, of course, Boy. This was around students, because then becoming an expert means training and teaching, and you live and learn faster by teaching. The first way of learning is teaching. The second best way of learning is doing.
Yeah.
So we have a biodigester in Taita Taveta University where students come and they learn and they ask questions and they ask and they go train and inform the rest. Second of all, we had trainings with women who are farmers in Bungoma, because appealing to them and telling them, my kitchen, like, now my home becomes exhibition zero.
Yeah.
This was my kitchen 1 year ago. This is my kitchen now. These are the challenges we are facing 1 year ago. These are the advantages we are enjoying now. This is how my farm was looking 2 years ago. This is how my farm is looking now. These are the burns my children were incurring. These are the diseases my children were suffering, asthma, and now I am asthma free. I am burns free in my home. And because women, when we're educating women, in adoption, it becomes faster and sustainable.
Yeah.
Because then they're looking at, if I'm making my home safer and cleaner, this is something that I could do in the long-term run. This is something I could train my children to participate in. And even we'll find husbands in the kitchen cooking, because he's not bending down to, blow firewood.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes cooking efficient. It makes cooking, effective. It makes cooking fun. It has some grace to it.
That is true. And if you want something to be adopted quickly, go to the women. Run 90% of the house. It's the house.
It's true.
Women
and
just
even
come
when
in
you're,
and sleep.
it's true.
Yeah.
And even looking at the Mugandas, we have these chamas that you contribute money, but you're not given money. In return, you're given an asset, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In adopting, say, a biogas digester, somebody says coming up with a biogas digester will incur 60,000 shillings. Somebody knows in my round table financing, I'll be financed with a biodigester. Yeah. The second woman will want it, the third woman, the fourth woman, the fifth woman. Then it becomes something of their own. In our round table, we were able to, construct biodigesters for ourselves and our families. And it's soon adopted faster, because then they are the true preachers of the difference in lifestyle using fossil fuel and using clean energy from biodigesters, from biomass, I'm sorry.
Good point. That's an inspirational stuff right there. So on to the next question. Most
Mhm.
agricultural stroke agribusiness rated farms in Africa have a
Mhm.
problem ensuring more competitive levels due to capitalization problems. Can we
Mhm.
consider this as the main problem to the survival of these cooperatives?
Well, yes. As the main problem, yes. Because then mismanagement sits at the center of any failure of an organization.
Yeah.
Be it mismanagement of human resource, be it mismanagement of financial resource, be it mismanagement of the network around.
Mhm.
So capitalization comes in where it is, there's a saying that says send money to make money, right?
Yeah.
If we do not utilize the funds in our and the resources to fully maximize the expected outcomes,
Mhm.
garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
We fail to achieve the outcomes of the expected outcomes of the project that we are financing because we mismanaged finances. Mismanaging finances comes in cutting shortcuts. Then we produce, very unsuitable products in the market. We have we test our products in the market, they fail. We create a negative impact. We are back to square one. Regaining that trust is very hard.
Yeah.
Second of all, we are looking at corruption. We have the resources, we have financing, we have, the go ahead to implement these resources, but the people sitting at the helm of financing are not. They're not people of integrity. Not all, but key players are not people of integrity. And if key players are not exercising integrity, the projects don't end up sustainable. And finances come in in terms of human labor. I don't think there's anybody in this current economy who will wake up to go work for free. Somebody wants value for their time. Somebody wants value for their money. So coming up with products that are competitive in the market and competitive in the market against imported products, because then we have biogas systems imported from outside the country that are much cheaper than what we could possibly produce. All because in our production map, we have a lot of capital intensive programs that are not being financed properly. So I think capitalization.
This is because the money is not there, or the money is being the capital is being used badly, or something like that.
Mismanagement. The money is there. Money is there, but the management of this money to actually come up with something valuable that could earn money is what lacks. Because I'm looking at, do you pay your taxes? I'm sure you do.
Yeah, I do.
Taxes are being paid left, right, and center heavily. But can we actually point and say this is what our tax has done? We have, extrapolated budget costs for programs that are running on a tax funded. It makes it very hard. Money is there, but the mismanagement of these resources, and not just money, resources attached to how capitalization works, mismanaged. We even fail before we start.
Because the people at the head of the table are, first of all, they are eating as much as they can before they share with the project.
True, and what is left is so little. It's so little. There is no morale. There is no encouragement to come up with, working solutions, because somebody knows, even if I come up with a working solution, it will not be financed. Even if I come up with a working policy, it will not be taken up.
Because the money finishes without even reaching the grassroots projects. See?
It's true. It's very true. It's a sad fact, but it's true.
There.
It's there.
So have you on a personal level, have you faced this?
Well, I come from a point of, if you are able to utilize the funds and the resources given to you, chances are you will multiply the resources. Multiplying the resources brings in a sense of financial stability. Financial stability brings in a sense of continuity. Continuity brings in a sense of large-scale adoption. Because you can only, from continuity, there is growth. From consistency, there is growth. For us, this is a social impact project where mismanaging funds from one corner cuts across, it will affect, it's like a domino effect. Yeah, a domino effect. It will affect all the other working cogs of this wheel we are trying to run.
Yeah.
So I have been, not really blessed. I have been equipped with financial management skills.
Yeah.
And I'm not coming from a place of greed. I have suffered this. I have burns on my hands to show.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have respiratory diseases to show. I have a very suited kitchen to show. I've been raised in an orphanage where firewood is the main source of energy. There's no complaint, it's firewood.
Yeah.
It's firewood. When you get charcoal, a little bit expensive, maybe for the cold days to keep us warm. So also where you're coming from as a project manager, in my case, where your values, where the mission and the vision and the values of your project lies is truly instrumental to how that project survives. Yeah. Because if my keen interest is to get money as fast as possible, I'm doomed to fail.
Sure.
But if I'm looking at impact, then there is that certain sense of responsibility to deliver what you promise. In fact, over deliver what you promise. Because these farmers are actually going through real challenges. This smoke is a silent killer. We have had fires in kitchens that has claimed lives, and families live to tell a tale.
Yeah.
We have kitchen suits that our grandmothers, oh my God, they live in. The conditions in which they live. It's very true. It's very true. Yeah. So where I come from, this is a deep-seated issue that it's not just about making money out of it. It's about improving the livelihood of the people around me. It's about changing lives. It's about imparting knowledge about, there's a better way.
Yeah. It's in central Kenya somewhere. And it's a very big farm. The money is there. They are being funded by, I think it's World Bank or something. World Bank, sorry. And she went there and they have done nothing. The money comes in and it's done away with before it even reaches the table. The people running the project, they eat everything before they even do anything. There are people, like there are greedy people who are running these things nowadays, and it's hard. It's really hard to make a progress with people like that.
And you see that the gatekeepers, they've been so long in the industry, they've been trusted, blindly.
Yeah, they've been trusted.
Blindly.
And they are big guys. They are big names. There are people you can't believe they are doing that.
But it's being done.
It's being done.
We don't have enough voices. Yes, we do have enough voices, but we don't have enough unionized voices to speak against.
The people you're going to complain to, they are the people who are eating, the people who are mismanaging.
In fact, they are relying on the side funds that comes from upstream. So why would I go and disrupt these funds that comes to feed my belly from the back? Why? So and no development is achieved.
With voices like yours, with the way youths are thinking nowadays, I think we are heading the right direction.
We are.
Africa is actually starting to open its eyes.
Yes. So, and more, for lack of a better word, more loud voices are now being heard.
Exactly.
No? Prior to that, we are just making noise, but now we are being heard. And that's an important fact. Yes, now we are being heard.
It's a starting point and it's a good thing.
It's true.
So speaking of Africa, let's go to the next question. Let's talk a bit about Sahara Desert. Sahara Desert covers around 10 countries in the Northern Africa. So when it comes to Sahara Desert, has the capacity of producing solar energy, which is one of the best. It's called clean energy in the world. The solar energy to power the whole of Africa and Europe. If only a third of it has solar panels installed. These are huge potential that is being underutilized in Africa. As a clean energy enthusiast, why is this not being considered?
The infrastructure. We have poor infrastructure. Well, in terms of look, coming up, there are a lot of components that play vital role in terms of setting up and implementing a renewable energy technology. In terms of utilizing local resources, in terms of utilizing local expertise.
Esther, sorry to cut you. We're talking about 55, almost 54 countries coming up together on a project, on one project.
I know. Okay.
Is it that hard?
If look at the mismatch. I could not 54 countries to come up with a mega project.
has around 54 countries, right?
True.
And we only need to cover a third of the Sahara Desert. That's around, I think, a quarter of a country, or half of a country up there. And there are 10 countries that cover Sahara Desert. So how is this hard? Why has this never been something you guys are raising voices about, something that you guys are fighting for?
I would still like infrastructure. We don't have definitive infrastructure to implement these plans. We have the ideas, we have the want.
Yeah.
We have the want, but we don't have the proper infrastructure to implement these ideas. Otherwise, we'll be importing expertise from China to come and build this, contributing significantly to the debt that we owe them, right? Other than that, look at the maintenance. Come up with a good project, but the maintenance, even if we rely on our local technology, if we were not involved from the beginning of the project, how are we able to sustain this project? Because foreigners are building these projects for us. Foreigners are sustaining this project for us. Foreigners stand to benefit the most from us. So if these countries, the 54 countries you're talking about, could come up with a mega project, which from my point of view would be slowly adopted, I would rather it's devolutionized to independent countries where we have Kenya championing for renewable energy, which, by the way, in Africa, Kenya seems to be picking up renewable energy quite well.
Yeah, they do.
And in countries where Mozambique, Malawi, Ghana, and Madagascar, who are facing the highest impact of climate change, they could be able to adopt this. Then make sure that proper infrastructure is put in place so that the whole cycle is sustainable. Like I said, if you're involved at the early stages of coming up with this project, it is a project for us, by us. Involving foreigners makes it a little bit hard because the costs incurred to make sure that this project runs on a foreign debt makes it hard to sustain. And the infrastructure, in terms of, we have a lot of politics in terms of the roads, politics in terms of the tenders, politics in terms of the supply materials, politics in terms of the labor, politics in terms of payment schedules, payment revenue streams. It's a challenge, but if we can be able to set up proper infrastructure to make sure that these cogs are running, these vital aspects of coming up with a sustainable renewable energy technology, then we stand a chance. We just lack proper management and the right infrastructure to implement this.
A country like, if you go to South America, I think Argentina is in South America, right?
Yes.
Argentina are running a similar kind of a project. And as a country, they are doing very good. So I think these are the thoughts, the ideas that Gaddafi had, if to say so. I think something like that should be. You guys need to make some, maybe one day.
We will.
Maybe one day. Uhuru might.
We will.
Wajakoya is good enough to take this. You can actually actualize something like this, because it's a. On that note, River Congo has the power, has the ability to produce hydroelectric energy to cover the whole of Africa if it's well harnessed, right?
Utilized, yes.
Yeah, but something like that has never even been tabled, not ever, even in any of African Union meetings. Why are things like those being bypassed?
Adoption of policies has not been something that we have been, for lack of a better word, we've had easier ways of adopting these policies. Because then look at the structure of adopting policies. It has to go through the parliament, given a go-ahead by the president. A lot of these politics here do not serve us. They do not serve us. If policies are implemented, we have good policies, but the implementation of these policies, because let me give a rough, rather an offside example. In 2015, Egypt struggled in terms of the road infrastructure.
Yeah.
And they had a plan, a 5-year plan, to make sure that, one, they would increase the number of highways to reduce, they would just improve the infrastructure. They would use local labor to improve this infrastructure.
Yeah.
And they've been able to transition from, I think, 30,000 kilometers of road to 150,000 kilometers of road in 5 years.
In 5 years.
Using local labor, using local infrastructure, using local knowledge.
With no Chinese involved.
With no Chinese involved. So if that could be translated to, let's say, Kenya, we have enough renewable expertise that could be harnessed.
Yeah.
If we could put policies and plans and mitigations and measures to make sure that this project is for us, by us, we'll be able to achieve. But a lot of, you see, leads us nowhere.
Exactly.
And we'll keep on saying the same stories over and over again until something changes. And it's
because we grew up in that, and we're going to raise our kids in that. And
it's true. But have you seen how, look at this policy. There is no plastic papers in the market. Look at the adoption. Have we been able to achieve that? Have we been able to have NEMA following up and being the long arm of the government? It's possible. We just need to have working policies and implementing these policies to the latter. It's very possible to change.
It is. I hope for the best, by the way.
We hope for the best.
We hope for the best.
We hope for the best.
And I wish Smart Biogas Digester the best. I'm waiting for you guys in all parts of Kenya.
True.
So on to the next question. Would you motivate investors to invest in agriculture and agribusiness and smart energy systems in Africa?
Definitely. Yes. Yeah. Agriculture.
Why would you go on.
As an investor, looking from an investor's point of view, other than getting returns on your investment and the ROI, we are looking at the impact you're trying to generate. What legacy are you leaving in your footprint as a company? Now, when you're looking at revenue, agriculture, if done well, is a very viable source of revenue. If you have the right technology, we have the right skills, we have the right information and knowledge to implement, the returns are amazing. Ever since COVID-19 and I went into farming, I realized soil is the brown gold. Because then if we are putting structures to make sure that our farmers have access to good seeds, have access to fertilizer, have access to proper preparation of land, have access to markets, they have access to reducing the market, the farm wastage, farm to market wastage in households, then we stand to gain. Two, when you're looking at investing in clean energy, SDGs, when you're looking at sustainable development, I think companies are now taking it up to align their core values, their core interests, their core mission and motto to align themselves with sustainable development goals. Investing in agriculture is investing in sustainability. Because looking at Africa, agriculture contributes significantly towards the GDP. And agriculture is a source of food. We will never stop. We will never stop eating. We will never stop eating. The current population by 2050 would have significantly increased. Investing in agriculture is investing in the future. I would encourage them to invest in agriculture and clean energy, because looking at the current crisis that we are facing in the energy sector, renewable energy then now becomes a proper alternative to the solution as a solution, right? Investing in the right solution is, there's this saying in the entrepreneurial world, solve the problem and money will follow. So if companies can invest in solving agricultural problems, money will definitely follow, because we have the numbers to sustain the models of gaining revenue. We have the numbers. We have the numbers. And other than that, the social impact you're generating. We are trying to come up with sustainable goals that are achievable. We are trying to contribute significantly towards our country, towards the sector that these investors major in in improving the lives of the people around them and the people they serve and the projects they aim to implement.
Yeah.
So I would encourage them to clearly invest in agriculture and clean energy, because those two in the near future are going to play a key role in how we view how energy is consumed and how we view how families are sustained.
Sure. So on to the final question, Esther. So what is the future of agriculture and clean energy in Africa in the near future?
The future is bright, albeit with a few challenges.
Yeah.
I'm looking at climate change that plays a significant role in how agriculture is going to be, projects and technologies in agriculture are going to be adopted. Yeah. Second of all, I'm also looking at the increasing population and the demand for agricultural produce. Third, unlike the increasing population, land remains static, only that the value increases. So the need for agricultural produce is on the rise. The need for clean energy is on the rise. We just have to put in place proper mitigations against the challenges that we currently face, and also put in place projects in policies to enhance the effectiveness of the projects that are already running. And also in looking at the adoption of proper agricultural practices and proper clean energy transition. I see the future is bright. The future is bright, but we have to work hard to make sure that it is attainable.
In Kenya, there is the Ministry of Energy, right?
Yes.
One word for them.
Invest in educating the youth about renewable energy, because educated minds then have the capacity to come up with innovations that are tailor-made for our problems.
That is, I wish you could hear that, and we will make sure he hears that.
Thank you.
Because the youth are the future, right? And
it's true.
By 2050, Africa will have the youngest population in the world, actually.
It's true. We are youth, and we are having this conversation right now. We are two educated people. We are educated we are educated on clean energy adoption in Africa. We are being educated on how energy, the correlation between agriculture and clean energy. We are educated, and therefore we are able to have meaningful conversations with impact. We are able to come together and find this is a problem. Like you've said in Makueni, you lack animals. As plenty as in Bungoma, we have enough animals. Coming up with solutions that suit you in Makueni, suits a farmer in Turkana who herds cows, to suit a farmer in Kinangop who grows potatoes, to suit me in Bungoma who I am a maize farmer, to suit somebody in Kisumu who rears fish. We have to be educated to come up with sustainable solutions to our problem. Investing in sensitizing, educating, and equipping us with the skills and the room to be innovative.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Esther.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot for taking your time. This was very educative. I believe we'll put it out there and people will get inspired as I have today.
Thank you very much. It was an honor to be on your podcast.
I wish you the best.
Thank you. You too.